Alright, I had to release this a day earlier than I planned because I forgot about a TFT double up tournament I signed up for at my school, so I hope you guys don't mind. This will be more of a generalized guide for the Aries Cup. I'm only here to provide you with some ideas and things to consider for your CM prep. If I included something that you don't think should be on the sheet or I didn't include something significant, as always, please let me and everyone in the community know in the comment section down below and I'll go ahead and update the sheet accordingly. Please always check the sheet for the most updated information. The downside of releasing these earlier is that the information is based on current testing, so if I mess something up and need to change something or any new relevant information comes out for the CM, I will be updating the sheet. The link to the sheet will be in the description as always. Just understand that the thing you see in the video itself is the 1.0 version of the sheet. And if you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and subscribe. Would greatly appreciate it. For the track condition, this CM is a medium track, 2000 meter Nakayama turf. It is clockwise, so right-handed, and it is spring season and sunny weather on firm terrain. For stats, the stat line this time around is easier to hit compared to the last CM. The hidden stat bonus threshold is on speed this time, so we'll naturally get it without a problem. We will want near max speed as per usual. The more cap it is, the better. Depending on the style you run and your mood, 750 to 800 will be your target range for stamina, but being a medium track means some people will be using debuffers, which we will cover later, but if you want to be safe, you can go on the higher end, and even 1 or 2 white recovery if you're really that worried. 750 is generally good enough for most cases, but you can always go to the Uma later and check on the Uma that you're planning on running for and its position to see exactly how much stamina will satisfy you individually for what you want. Power 1000 to 1200, obviously the more cap it is the better. Try to get as high as you can if you find it hard to hit near max power. For gut, around 500 to 600-ish is what you want to aim for. You should be fine with hitting this range just by playing Track Blazer naturally, but if you play Rico on your deck, that will help with gut and stamina as well. For wit, 1000 to 1200, ideally we want near 1200 on speed, power, and wit. If you find that hard to achieve, just try your best to get as high as of a number for those three as you can, prioritizing speed first. I also want to shortly touch on gut builds. So gut build isn't like awful in the CM, but the strength of gut really shines on Tokyo track due to the long home stretch that we can abuse dueling for. The home stretch here is quite short, so the benefit of gut for the CM will not be that great, but the next 2 CM will be, so stay tuned for that. There's also the problem with gut decks doesn't provide as much variety of skills for you to get in your career outside of RNG and good skills from racing, so I would recommend the classic speed, wit, and the CM power cards to hit all the stats while having more option for skills. I'll go over more of this on the card section near the end. Frontrunner. Angling and scheming is back on the menu, therefore Seiyun Sky is also a viable option again. Do note Seiyun Sky has Mile C, so you will ideally get that to B or A to make your career life easier. She also innately has the win con in her kit. The problem is getting to the first position to activate her unique skill, which can be hard with some of the other Uma like Valentine Bourbon and Maru here. They're unique or stronger in getting to the first position, so Seiyun Sky would need a lot of mid-race skills to ensure she maintains first as consistent as possible to activate angling and scheming to win from there. Valentine Bourbon, what else to say? She's easy to build with her having groundwork, focus, or concentration, depending on which one you want. Frontrunner savvy and an early lead in her kit, along with escape artist, which is pretty good too. The only thing she can't get is taking the lead since she can't use her own card, but overall easy to build and strong. Gotta love a Uma like that. Maru is also pretty decent, definitely does not have as much in her kit innately compared to the other two in terms of firepower, but still a frontrunner option for you to run if you wish. Because she requires you to have a recovery skill for her unique Kiss for Courage, you can have a bit lower stamina than what I recommend because of that. Kita-san, I think she's alright, not crazy OP like CM11, but even if she's bad, I will still include her on every one of my sheets because I'm biased. By the way, if the coloring for any of these throughout the video you disagree with and you have insight on your end, as usual, I would love to hear it in the comments below. Unique skill, as mentioned earlier, angling and scheming, or rod some of you might call it, will be the best one to inherit. Bark-Roll of Blessing from New Year TM Abra and Operation Cacao from Valentine Bourbon will also be very solid option, and even Kiss of Courage is usable as well if you intend on buying a white recovery skill. For skills, just your usual frontrunner core, taking the lead as per always, count as +1 for groundwork requirement, and then groundwork, you know the drill already, not going to explain further than that. I'm not going to go over all of these or this video will be very long, but again, I will link the sheet in the description for you to look at your own pace. I will point out, dodging danger, plus prudent positioning or ignited spirit wit will be more emphasized on this track, so try to get that pair if you can. Up tempo or killer tunes, also very good skill for this one. You can get it from Alcantara Pasta Power, which I'll discuss later as well. And all these other good stuff over here. And then the green skills for groundwork, as per always. Spring Spectacle is an option if you run Sakura Chiyono. And then if you run Naruto Top Road Speed card, you can potentially eye for Firm Course Menace, but be aware that these are quite expensive, so plan accordingly. Front is definitely the overall top position being played in this CM with a decent amount of good options for Uma. For Pace Chaser, we don't have any options. Okay, we do. Well, not really. Funnily enough, despite pace being pretty lacking for this one, the top Uma for this CM will be Christmas Oguri. You can run her N, but I think pace is just better with more white recovery option and more usable skills compared to N closer. So instead of a pace chaser section, this will be more of a Christmas Oguri section. But if you do want to play pace chaser for your Oshi, the skills and everything on the right will still apply. Here are some pace chaser I see in lobbies not named Christmas Oguri. For unique skill, Bark-Roll of Blessing still good, Shadow Break, Duty of Dignity Call, Triumphant Pulse, and then Fuji Kizaki's unique skill are all fine options. For skills, we got Head On, Nimble Nav or NSM from Inspiration, Bijin Wit card or Random Track Laser event, and then Up Tempo or Killer Tunes, and then a bunch of the usual good skills you see here. Prepare to Pass and Speed Star it's still fine, but not as good as before due to where the last corner is at in this track. And then all the other good stuff as per mentioned earlier, green skills, they're there if you have extra skill points remaining, Spring Runner and right-handed especially. Now for the exclusive Christmas Oguri part, let's hope I got it right. First off, stamina can be lower than what I recommend due to her Festive Miracle unique requiring 3 recovery to activate, and Festive Miracle also granting recovery as well. And because you want to ensure you hit these recovery skills, you ideally want max wit for highest consistency if you can. You can certainly just run 3 recoveries, but you can also run 4 just in case, 2 of them being 777 and Agnes Takian unique skill being Uma 2. These are very good recovery options since they proc at a very nice timing for your Festive Miracle. I also want to note that Uma 2 does have a position condition being between 3rd to 4th position, so depending on the lobby, maybe with a lot of front runners or maybe some other Christmas Oguri is beating your Christmas Oguri, or in some cases your Christmas Oguri is beating them too hard, so then you don't get 3rd to 4th position, this recovery might not activate, so please keep that in mind. Groundwork is also very nice to have, although it is hard sometimes to hit the 3 skills needed to activate groundwork, and hitting groundwork in career on top of all the other things like medium S that you need to get. So if you can't or don't want to, it's not the end of the world. Some even just prefer to use the skill points they would have spent on these skills to buy more mid-game skills instead. Angling and scheming is dependent on lobby and how strong your Christmas Oguri is, in my opinion. It can certainly beat weak front and even stronger front if your Oguri is built really well, but against a very strong front like Valentine Bourbon for example, can make it so in those instances you wasted 120 to like 180 skill points depending on your hint level buying this skill, where you could have spent it on something more consistent per se. Up to you on this one whether you want to get it or not. There's also another unique that is in the talk right now, but I'm not going to mention it until there's more data backing it up, and if it turns out to be good enough of an option, I'll include it in the sheet. For Laysurger, 2 of the best one in my opinion are Dober and Ryan, because surprise it is because their unique work on this course for backliners. Dober is a bit tricky due to her aptitude, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and then there's Ryan because, well, Ryan unique also is very strong for this one. And then we also have Kawakami Princess, similar aptitude issue as Dober, but one of the 2 Uma currently out that does come with no stopping me in their kit, therefore making them appealing there. And of course, obligatory mention, Mambo, or else I'll get spammed where's Mambo. For unique skill, as mentioned earlier, let's pump some iron, and moving past and beyond from Majiro Ryan and Majiro Dober is very good. I would recommend taking these for your best odd of RNGing a victory. For skills, Nimble Nav or No Stopping Me is very good here, Slick Surge or on your left, but if you take Iron and Pass and Beyond and Nimble, you can consider just ignoring it and just use the skill points elsewhere since you'll have enough Excel if you hit, or just buy Slick Surge, that's also fine as well. Fast and Furious, also something I see as pretty good for this one, and I see a lot of people taking it in lobbies as well. And then green skills, as per usual, they're there if you need them. Now for end closers, Okay, I do see some end closer in lobbies that isn't Christmas Oguri, but things are not looking too hot for them. I would generally avoid end closer in my opinion if your goal is to win. Again, I still prefer Christmas Oguri as pace, but she can work as an end closer. For unique skill is the same as Lay Surger, nothing new to speak about. Skills, Nimble Nap, and NSM is your only saving grace most likely. Daring Strike is also a very good skill that you'll likely want to have if you can afford to. And then we have your usual green skills if you want to boost some of your stats. Another medium CM, another Debuffers Fest. There's two variations, one being the classic Evo nature where she potentially zap your opponent's stamina and hope their Uma run out of juice, but in my opinion, she's only effective on day 1, round 1, and round 2 since there will be a decent amount of people that either might not hit stamina stat line or at the very edge, where for those cases, it'll be the most effective. Once you get to day 2, assuming you hit group A, more people will have Uma more stable in the stamina department, making it nice nature effectiveness goes down. Which is why I would recommend Dominator debuffers in general, these Umas over here, where they're effective always, assuming they proc Dominator. Dominator, I believe, is a 0.7 length difference per proc. Someone fact check me if I'm wrong, but I think it is 0.7 length. This is especially crucial because Dominator can either be the difference for your other Christmas Oguri from beating your front, or Christmas Oguri from beating your Christmas Oguri, or your Christmas Oguri beating other fronts. I know, very fun CM. It's almost like there's a trend here. For types of other debuffs to include on your debuffers, I would prioritize Hesitant first because of what I just mentioned earlier, and then the stamina stuff as secondary priority. For running style to target, I will focus on front and pace, well, pace being Christmas Oguri, first before late and end closers. Here are some cards that grant the priority hesitant skills. You can even run the R version of these cards since you're just running them for a chance of hitting the debuff skills. There are other ones as well, but those are from random events, so more RNG. For other debuff skills, you can look it up yourself based on what you want from your debuffers. Now let's touch on sparks and cards to run. Generally, speed and wit is the easiest to hit near max, therefore inheriting power is the safest bet. If you find it easy for you to hit max power consistently, you can consider doing other sparks. Maybe your wit cards aren't strong and you have issues hitting max wit, throw some wit sparks in there, maybe even change some cards around for better odds of hitting certain skills. Very flexible based on your circumstances, but mostly power is the safest bet. If you don't have any good power sparks, just use whatever you have available to you that is a good legacy. Always adapt based on your situation. You might want to invest in specific distance sparks to allow you to race more consistently in career runs without burning through your clocks. You have three options. One is invest enough sparks to hit A aptitude. This is obviously ideal for you to be more consistent with your G1 races and career and not burn 20 clocks a day. But you can also invest enough to get B, which is sometimes good enough depending on your preference. Or C, the last option is just sack it, forget about it, and not invest in aptitude sparks for these G1 races, which does take a hit on your stats and skill point, but sometimes you can't afford to invest with the legacy that you have in hand. Here are some examples. For Valentine Bourbon, her aptitude is amazing, where she has mild B, medium A, and long B, which long won't be a problem since there's like 4 G1 long races you need to do for the appetite bonus of Kikuasho, both Ari Makinen and then also Tenosho Spring. And since mild is already at B, you can stick with that, but there is a lot of G2 and G3 mile races that I like investing one mile spark to get to A, so you can opt in for option A or option C if you don't mind mile B. Kida-san or Seiyun, mile is C, so you need one mile spark to get to B and 4 or more to get to A. In this case, I would go to option A or B depending on my preference and what I have available for my legacy options. Christmas Oguri, only relevant B is on long and dirt. These one I don't think it mattered that much, but you can raise them to A if you wish. And then there's Dober, long F. You can either invest 10 long sparks to get it to B to get the potential extra stat bonus you would get from the classic triple crown and spring and autumn triple crown set, but that's a lot of investments, so some might just take option C and forget long and just run the triple tiara set or Philly set, some might call it, along with the mile set. Obviously, you lose like potentially 65 stats if I remember correctly, but that'll also restrict you less on the legacy side of things, just depending on the person and your account status. Now let's look at cards. It's important to note that for your entire deck at the end, you ideally want at least 50% race bonus for your entire deck if you can. So please keep that in mind when you're building your deck. The general stats ratio setup for this CM will be 2 speed, 3 wit, and then a power card, but this is just a general ratio. Adjust if one stats looks lacking to you and mess around with different sparks allocation as well if needed. And again, gut build isn't bad, but you should just use the speed, wit, and power setup for better skills and consistency. I promise the gut builds are coming. For speed cards, Naruto Top Road obviously being one of the best, but I will only use it if it's 3LB or preferably MLB for the extra race bonus. Also comes with Firm Course Menace and potentially even Up Tempo, which is nice. Machikane also a top tier option if you want to high roll. Kitasan Black, you technically don't need 3LB or MLB, but not having the base specialty priority unlock feels pretty bad. But if that's all you have 1LB, 2LB, then you can still use it. It's not the end of the world. Biko is a very good stat stick, nothing much else to say there. Kawakami Princess at 3LB and MLB has race bonus, so it's not too bad. Also, you can unlock center stage on her last chain event, and which means that you unlock prudent positioning as well. Then, so for your front runner, all you need to do is RNG a dodging danger from races, and then you'll be able to get the pair of skills there. For SR, we got Shingo Windy. At MLB, it has 10% race bonus, which is very nice, and then Sweet Tosho if you don't have anything else. Stamina cards, we are not running any. You get stamina from power training, and if you need more stamina, get it from sparks if needed. For power cards, Alcandor Pasa, very good power card for the stats it gives. 2 usable greens you can get for groundwork condition, medium straightaway, and killer tunes or up tempo. A very good power card. Definitely consider borrowing this card, especially if you're running front or pace and you don't need to borrow anything else. You can still use this on your late and end closer, but up tempo or killer tunes is really only for front and pace. And then we also got Yaino Muteki. Oh my god, this card is so good also. The stats output is going to be significantly less than Alcandor Pasa. It also has very low specialty priority, but this card has so many good or usable skills, being ramp up, home stretch haste, prepare to pass for pace chaser, up tempo, and also tail held high in the hint pool. And then from the event, you can get medium corners, and then playtime's over or opt in for It's On, which is the gold version of ramp up. Very, very good skill cards, especially if you find hitting the max power relatively easy. This might be a good option for you to explore and see if you can get more skills for your Uma. Smart Falcon, groundwork for frontrunner and not deal with groundwork inspiration shenanigans. Marvelous Sunday, event card, still good. Base bonus, 35 initial power and stamina, and being Marvelous Sunday has some very nice skill hints with straightaway adept, ramp up, and tail held high to potentially get. And then Daitaku Helio, also not a bad option for front as it comes with escape artists for those that need a stronger emphasis on mid-game skills. And this card has a skill point bonus as well, which is quite nice. Amar Vega, also for end closer to get Daring Strike. Nishino Flower has 15% race bonus at MLB, has some green skills you can get, and can grant you straightaway Adept and potentially a Charming event early, which is always appreciated. Daiwa Scarlet Power, this card is not out as of recording this video. It might be out when you watch it, but this card can grant you many Pace Chaser skill, up tempo, and then the gold version of Head On as well. So just leaving that here for those that want to try it. For gut, not gonna go over that. Wit card, 5 motion being the obvious best choice. High stats, race bonus on 3LB and MLB, and potentially give you nimble nav from the skill hints and speed star for Pace Chaser, and also right-handed potentially as well. Nice Nature outside of On Your Left for Laserdger. If you get her to MLB, she grants 15% race bonus, which is really, really good for a wit card. Yukino Beijing, you can have any limit break will work. You really only use this card to get No Stopping Me if you wish to go that route. The wit output of this card is quite low, and I've seen people use their borrow slot on MLB of this card, but that you also have to consider that those people have a lot of other top cards like Naruto Top Road, Fuku, and also Nice Nature Wit, so they can afford the borrow slot. Prioritize hitting your stats first, but if you have a copy or two of this card on your account, you can consider using it for the No Stopping Me that this card does grant. We also have Mihono Bourbon event wit card for your frontrunner that isn't Mihono Bourbon herself for taking the lead. And then for SR cards, we got Marvelous Sunday and Takian at MLB granting 10% race bonus, but any limit break works. They grant 5% scaling up depending on their limit break. Marvelous Sunday, as mentioned earlier from the Powered Marvelous Sunday, has some very nice skill hints there, so that's the benefit of her. But Takian is especially good here with her having a very small hint pool with all medium skills on top of the skill point bonus, so it's a very good wit card to consider. And then lastly, friendship card, it's only Rico. If you have Rico at 3LB, preferably MLB, you can use this card for some extra stamina and gut, mood recovery option in career. And if you use it well, you can make your career more smooth sailing. If you don't have any of these cards, by the way, I just use what you have available in your account and adapt based on it. Just keep in mind of the 50% race bonus threshold for your entire overall deck. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. If you have any comments, questions, thoughts, if I misspoke, if you disagree with some of these, think something on this sheet should be changed, added, or removed, please drop a comments down below. I'll greatly appreciate it. Again, link to the sheet is in the description and I'll update it if needed for any adjustment. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Take care.